Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. One of the things I learned when I was negotiating was that until I changed myself, I could not change others. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is inspiring others to move beyond it. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. You will achieve more in this world through acts of mercy than you will through acts of retribution. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. In my country we go to prison first and then become president. We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. It is not where you start but how high you aim that matters for success. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. Your playing small does not serve the world. Who are you not to be great? It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. We must use time creatively, and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. The brave man is not the one who has no fears, he is the one who triumphs over his fears. I have never cared very much for personal prizes. A person does not become a freedom fighter in the hope of winning awards. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in any society, a life free from violence and fear. Once a person is determined to help themselves, there is nothing that can stop them. Peace is the greatest weapon for development that any person can have. I could not imagine that the future I was walking toward could compare in any way to the past that I was leaving behind. No single person can liberate a country. You can only liberate a country if you act as a collective. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. There are few misfortunes in this world that you cannot turn into a personal triumph if you have the iron will and the necessary skill. For a revolution is not just a question of pulling the trigger, its purpose is to create a fair, just society. As a leader, one must sometimes take actions that are unpopular, or whose results will not be known for years to come. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Having resentment against someone is like drinking poison and thinking it will kill your enemy. It is most unusual to return to a place that has changed in ways you yourself have altered.